Welcome to the Moon Magic Tarot channel and today's video on how to manifest with the moon. In this video we are going to be looking at the waning gibbous moon phase, and in particular we are going to look at the waning gibbous moon as she moves from Sunday the 11th of September through to Friday the 16th of September. The waning gibbous moon phase is the phase of the moon that comes after the full moon. And from our perspective, what we actually see when we look up into the sky is the moon beginning to diminish in size. She is moving from her fullest to her last quarter. Now for me, I always find this phase of the moon very consistent, very rewarding, and actually I would say very empowering. We often in our manifestations tend to focus on the real peaks of energy. We focus on the new moon and the full moon and also the quarters. But you know, it's these periods in between when I think we actually really, this is where we do the doing. This is where in manifestation we are far more proactive in actually making things happen. So these are very, very important phases of the moon in our ongoing process of manifestation. When we manifest with the moon, we are always looking at the various layers of influence of the moon. We're looking at the phase of the moon, the zodiac sign that the moon is passing through, any void of course periods. This is where the moon sits between the influence of two zodiac signs. She doesn't always move straight from one sign to another. We also look at the other influences of the other planetary bodies, and then we look at the soul growth layer where we look at tribal traditions and the tree lore and the Celtic wisdom of the ancestors, as this tends to help us to really understand and get a good and objective viewpoint on some of the more difficult stuff that often shows up in our lives. So we are coming out of a peak period of energy when the full moon has illuminated all the stuff that's working for us, but also all the stuff that isn't. And as we enter the waning gibbous moon phase, there's still a lot of energy for us to continue investing in our external circumstances of manifestation. But there's also an opportunity to begin to shift the processing to sort of looking within. If we think that change starts from within, this is a moon phase that asks us to check in with ourselves and see whether we are really walking our talk. Are our manifestations really in alignment with everything that we wish to see in the world? And not just everything that we wish to see in the world for us, but also everything that we wish to see in the world for future generations yet to come. And this is where our understanding of the tribal moon cycles and the Celtic tree lore comes into play, because we are currently in the energy of the moon phase of setting sun woman, who is the keeper of tomorrow's dreams, the keeper of future dreams. She asks us to really evaluate our circumstances with a view to aligning everything that we're doing with a vision that can be not just for us and our own manifestations, but for future generations yet to come. The tree lore of hazel is amazing because hazel is a wood that literally helps. If you cut away the old with a hazel tree, it will generously give back to you. It will flourish. The new will come. So we learn resilience. We learn to let go of things that no longer serve us and to embrace the new and to grow and flourish into a space of opportunity. So let's have an actual look at the chart and what's happening day by day as the moon moves through this particular phase, and of the planets that she actually connects with and the planetary alignments that she will add her weight to and influence. So super souls, this is the chart as we begin Sunday the 11th of September. We've come out of an amazing full moon in Pisces where things will have been illuminated, so we can really see what is working in our lives and what isn't. And we're given the opportunity now in the waning, disseminating gibbous phase of the moon to do something with this. Now, the background noise that we have at the moment, Saturn and Uranus are in a square. This was the scene that dominated 2021. It really is the breakdown versus breakthrough situation. So anything we are actively seeking to change, the energy is here to support us. Uranus, the Great Awakener, shows us higher-minded solutions for things that are not working. Saturn brings us the life lessons we need, sometimes rather than those that we want. But this is such a powerful connection that is going to be seeing us through the last few months of this year, 2022. Now, on this day, The sun is tuning into this energy of Uranus and firing it up a little more, giving it some source energy and some spark to create change. Now let's just look at our beautiful moon. Our beautiful moon is tuning in with Neptune, spiritual awareness, spiritual awakening, and Pluto, the energy of rebirth. Later in the day, as she journeys into Aries, which, Aries is sponsoring new beginnings, our moon then joins expansive Jupiter. This truly is a day where the energy is totally primed for awakening, emergence, and expansion. So use this energy to invest in anything and everything that you want to emerge, consolidate, and make real and make happen. Now, this is the chart that we see on Monday as we begin to look at our moon traveling through Aries. Now, she starts the day opposite Mercury. As she travels through the day, she then connects very favorably with Mars, so a lot of get up and go energy. She's still in Aries. Later in the day, she tunes in with Chiron, connecting to Lilith and Lilith's masculine counterpart. And then further on into the day, we just see her flying through the rest of Aries. Now, what does this mean for us? To be honest, it may not be the easiest day ever, but do you know what? If you're motivated and you're passionate about a course of action or a project or something that you want to move forwards that feels like it has a purpose for you, to be honest, I think there will be a ton of energy to invest. So use it well and channel it well. So on Tuesday, we have a very different shift in energy. Now, initially, the moon is tuning in, squaring with Pluto. This for me feels like with all the heightened energy of the last few days, even though the moon has been steadyingly decreasing, there's been such a lot of motivated energy around. As we begin Tuesday, it feels for me like that final push, that final surge to actually make stuff happen. And then we can kind of breathe and relax. The moon will then move out of Aries and into Taurus, and she will just really steady herself. And I would say probably offer us quite a steadying influence. So this is the point as her energy is diminishing, where we can start to work in a more consolidated, steady, consistent way, really starting to make stuff happen in a very real way, to level out and just move things forwards at a slightly more gentle pace. On Wednesday, we see the moon tuning in very, very favorably with Venus and also connecting in with the nodes. Later on, as she moves through the day, she is going to then connect in with Lilith as well. I think this is one of those days where we can be steadily active whilst sort of being completely present and open to anything and everything that might show itself in the immediacy of our world. So if an opportunity or an adjustment or something unexpected happens, seize the moment. So be steady, be active, and yet present and still simultaneously, if that makes sense. I think it's a day, if you are attuned with the universe will attune with you, and you could receive exactly the signs and signals that you need. Now, on Thursday, the moon begins her day by strongly connecting in with the Uranus-Saturn square and also tuning in very favorably with Lilith here. So this is that sort of breakthrough potential that could feel a little uncomfortable. It could feel as though things are challenged, but the purpose is for us to see what we need to change. The moon, of course, is now diminishing. She is getting smaller and smaller, but she still carries quite a lot of momentum at this particular point in her moon phase. As she progresses through the day, she then tunes in with Neptune and the Sun, and very favorably. Now, Neptune brings us spiritual awareness. The Sun brings us source energy to maintain consistent growth. As she then continues, she tunes into the energy of Pluto and still maintains her connection with Neptune. Pluto wants us to rebirth. Now, I feel the overall dynamics of this day feel a little bit like 4 seasons in one day. But as we progress through those seasons, there is, well, real opportunity with a natural sort of course of movement. It's almost as if we are going to be able to see what we need to see, We can then seek spiritual clarification or confirmation, and then we can transform this into the new. So a very interesting day. We also have a very long void of course period when the moon moves from Taurus into Gemini. It's nearly 8 hours long. So I will be curious to see how that void of course actually affects us. It can feel really liberating when the moon is in between signs and not channeling through any particular personality of a sign, but it can also feel a little bit as if we're out at sea sometimes. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this influence really affects our own unique personal circumstances. On Friday, the moon is in Gemini all day, and we see a very different kind of energy after Thursday's busyness. The lunar flow just eases and it steadies, and it's as if we get to gently expand. First of all, she connects with beautiful, expansive Jupiter. She then progresses to make a super lovely connection with Mercury, who is in beautiful, balanced Libra. I really think this is sort of potentially one of those days, you know, when you can literally go with the flow and it all kind of works. You know, when the lights just turn to green and things just fall into place. This feels like one of those days. So given the busyness and the up and downness of the overall energy at the moment, I would honestly say relax into the day and enjoy whatever you are doing. Super Souls, I hope you have enjoyed this How to Manifest with the Waning Gibbous Moon Phase. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really love sharing this information. For me, manifesting with the moon has been an unbelievably empowering and liberating experience. So it's great fun to do these. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you all of you who've been giving back through the super thanks, and a special thank you to all of you who are supporting all of my work ongoing on Patreon. Tons and tons of love, and have an amazing week.